Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, September 26th. This is Gina McGuire. We are not expecting any significant impacts to fire potential over the next week. However, we will continue with these well above normal temperatures, possibly seeing some heat near record breaking across parts of Nevada and Utah. However, temperatures will gradually be decreasing through next week and reach closer to normal by the middle to end of next week. Also, dry conditions will continue today. However, we may finally start to see some showers or thunderstorms return to parts of northern Utah or into southeast Idaho and Wyoming today. Breezy winds will also continue through next week, with low RH especially across parts of Nevada and Utah, but are expected to remain below critical conditions. The past 24 hours, we saw no showers or thunderstorms across the Great Basin, and over the last week, we've seen very dry conditions across Nevada and most of Utah, with still some moisture up north. However, over the last 30 days, we've seen plenty of rainfall over the eastern half of the Great Basin, with still very dry conditions over parts of southern and western Nevada, where some areas haven't seen rain in over 30 to 40 days. The water vapor satellite image from this morning still shows strong high pressure dominating the eastern half of the Great Basin, with low pressure off the west coast, and increasing southwest flow in between these two areas across northern area of the Great Basin. Some showers or thunderstorms may develop today over parts of far northern Utah, eastern Idaho and western Wyoming as a weak disturbance moves over that area, but any activity would be very isolated, with continued warm and dry conditions otherwise. Low to moderate fire potential will continue across the Great Basin with these very dry conditions, especially over the western half of Nevada, with lower fire potential in northern or eastern areas that have seen cooler temperatures and more moisture. Down at the surface today, we'll see temperatures reaching the 80s to low 90s in the valleys, and cooler air is now moving into the central Idaho mountains. Winds today will be breezy with southwest to west winds, gusting between 25 and 30 miles per hour at times, or even slightly over 30 miles per hour over parts of eastern Idaho into western Wyoming. Also, relative humidity will be in the teens over Nevada and Utah, but a little bit higher further north with the cooler weather. As we move into Sunday, Monday, on Sunday, moisture lingers for an increasing chance of showers or thunderstorms over parts of northern Utah into eastern Idaho and Wyoming. However, drier conditions will continue in other areas, again with low to moderate fire potential. Relative humidity will remain in the low to mid-teens over Nevada and Utah. However, with the moisture will be increasing over far northern Utah into Wyoming, with most relative humidity remaining above 18 or 20%. Winds will also remain breezy on Sunday, but maybe a little bit stronger today over western Wyoming and Idaho than what we'll see tomorrow. As we move into Monday, this moisture starts to move eastward. We may see a few isolated showers or thunderstorms over the northern or eastern half of Utah and continuing across far eastern Idaho and Wyoming. However, again, dry conditions and low to moderate fire potential is expected elsewhere. Relative humidity will be lowest on Monday across Nevada, however, will be increasing over northern Utah, with again continued southwest to west winds, and along the Sierra front we may see some gusts between 28 and 30 miles per hour. Looking now towards Tuesday, we still have some lingering moisture over Idaho, eastern and northern Utah, and into western Wyoming, with drier conditions still further south and west. However, temperatures will gradually be cooling as the trough of low pressure moves into the west coast, even over parts of southern and western Nevada. However, moderate fire potential will continue through next week over these areas. Looking into Wednesday, the low pressure starts to move east across the northern portion of the Great Basin, giving a better chance for cooler temperatures and still continued showers or thunderstorms over the northern third of the Great Basin. By Thursday and Friday, we may actually see temperatures stabilize or even warm a little bit, depending on the pattern. However, dry conditions look to persist, especially across Nevada and Utah. Looking at overall precipitation amounts, through Monday on the left, the only showers and thunderstorms we're expecting are over Wyoming, far southeastern Idaho, and northern Utah. Through next week, we'll likely see additional amounts of precipitation over the northern third of the Great Basin. Now looking at current fire danger indices across the Great Basin, ERCs have been increasing rapidly due to the very warm and dry conditions and are now near or above the 80th percentile over parts of Nevada and Utah. However, are still quite a bit lower over Idaho, but have been increasing to near normal. Looking ahead at the first week of October, very warm and dry conditions are expected across the Great Basin. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.